Narrative writing, generating ideas for secondary education. The writer will create a timeline of their lives to give them ideas for writing. Creating a timeline will help students put important events of their lives in chronological order. The length of this support lesson should only be 7 to 10 minutes, and you should allow the students around 30 minutes to complete their timelines. This lesson assumes that your students are able to remember real-life experiences in sequential order of when the events in their lives happened. Materials for this lesson that are needed: composition book or line paper, mentor text example for optional modifications, and sentence strips. Ask your students to think about events in their lives that have been important to them. Talk about the kinds of events that belong on a timeline, such as changes they have experienced, new siblings, vacations, moves, and/or successes. Students only need a little prompting to get started. Show the students how to draw the timeline, or ask a student to share their ideas of how their timeline might look. Sharing your own timeline would give them a visual concept of how the timeline should be written, but isn't a necessary step. Here is an example of one of my student timelines, and she decided to put one event from each year that she had been alive. Another student only picked 10 events, and she put hers in a circle. Ask the students to include 7 to 10 events in their lifetime and give them 20 to 30 minutes to work on their timelines. Allow students to draw pictures or add color to their timelines. During this time, the teacher should be conducting short individual conferences to check student understanding of this activity. Have the students share their timelines with a partner or do a whole group share. A whole group share could help give students whom are struggling new ideas. Possible modifications. Students could be given the framework of a pre-made timeline and a sentence strip. The teacher could record on the student's timeline that the student dictates to them. Students could use technology to create a timeline. Use Diary of a Spider or Diary of a Worm to create a timeline of the spider's or worm's lives. Additional resources. There are 3 websites listed here that you could use, and also the MAISA Writing Units from several grades that could be beneficial. These are resources that I use for this activity. Anchor Standards W.3 is the focus of this lesson.